It's Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hi, this is Ivy Slater. Welcome to today's episode of Her Success Story. Ashley Robinson is a guest today. Ashley and I have gone back several years. We both work with a lot of clients in the legal space, and we've had the honor and the pleasure of getting to know each other through various organizations, one of which I'll give a shout out to is Women Own Law. Ashley was born and raised in Alabama, where she attended college on a full golf scholarship. And I love this about Ashley because it's so much of who she is. She's the whole thing, the whole package. So she got a full scholarship to Jacksonville State University. After college, Ashley began her career in marketing, where she gained her experience and love for the fast-paced agency life. Some people really lean into this, ladies and gentlemen. After working for an automotive agency for a number of years, Ashley had the opportunity to begin her own agency working exclusively with law firms. To date, Ashley and her team have helped over 150 law firms make more money and create the law firm they have always dreamed of by leveraging their marketing channels. Ashley, thank you so much for joining me here today. I am so excited to chat with you on Her Success Story.
I am too, Ivy. I've always enjoyed talking to you. I love being around you, and I'm very excited to be on today. Thank you for having me.
So I have to ask, okay, I got the background in marketing. And of course, at some point, I have to ask the transition from golf to marketing. But where did the legal piece come in? How did that develop?
Yeah, so peculiar, right? And very specific. So I've always known I wanted to be my own business owner. I wanted to have my own business. I wanted to be my own boss. I've always known that. And
I have to tell you something. I'm jumping in. I don't know if you know this about me, but I knew at about 25, 26, I was going to own a business and be the master of my own destiny. And that was the phrasing I put it at. I was like, I don't know how this is going to come about, but I know I'm going to do it.
Ivy, I knew from very early on. I really do believe it has to do with the golf in me. It's such an individual sport. I love team atmosphere, but golf is just you and it's you alone. I'm very headstrong. And so combine all of these things, I just knew it, but I didn't know what it was. And I always thought I was alone in that. And I've met so many people like you and like me that said, I knew I wanted to do my own thing. I just couldn't figure out what it was. During that time though, I just thought, why is this? Why can't I figure it out? So I always knew, I really thought it was going to be something in golf, but it wasn't. So at the time of me really pushing myself and questioning myself, what is it? What can I do? My sister meets and marries a lawyer. So I'm at this point, I'm working at an automotive agency at this point where I learned so much and really developed a taste for that fast-paced lifestyle, that fast-paced work. And so she meets this lawyer and I start doing his marketing on the side like any good sister-in-law would.
Right? We show up for family very often as we show up for no other.
That's right. So I start doing his marketing and it was the most organic growth just the typical organic growth of he tells another lawyer that's in his building and they tell a lawyer. And then I look up and I'm 4 or 5 lawyers deep and I decided to make the leap and quit my job and never turned back. And I went full time at the beginning, right when COVID was happening. We had just bought a house. We were trying to remodel it in the middle of COVID. So still pretty young. I had been doing it a while, part-time on the side before that, but full-time. I quit in the middle of a global pandemic. So if I can survive that, I feel like I can survive anything. If you could do that,
you could do anything.
That's right.
And it's so interesting because when you look at marketing, you truly look at, and it's so early on talked about niche market, hone in small. And I will say one of the biggest mistakes I made early on with Slater's success is not being niche. So, it's almost which came first with you, the chicken or the egg. The marketing came first and then the opportunity, that niche, and then you just jumped in.
It did. And when I worked at the automotive agency, I always said, like, man, this guy, my boss, shout out Strong Automotive Merchandising, he has it figured out. Our dealers came to us and said, look, these guys they are experts in this industry. They only work with automotive. And I always said, it never clicked with me, like, oh, I could do the same thing in a different industry. That was not my goal. But I always said, this is such a smart business idea to be an industry expert in this one field. You can study a certain field. So that was already brewing. And then this happened with my brother-in-law. So I would say the marketing piece came first, but there was always a thought of focusing on one industry. The thought of my brain having to learn every industry and being kind of a one size fits all, that I just don't think that would work for me. My brain is, I want to be really, really good. I'm a perfectionist. I want to be really good at one area. So it clicked with me as soon as I started doing this in this field and realized what a need there was for the legal industry. I never questioned it, never even considered doing other industries.
So I have to ask you this. Is marketing, now you've worked in other industries previously, is marketing in the legal industry different? So if I look at myself in the consulting coaching industry and we look at clients in various different marketplaces from, finance, which has a lot of compliance stuff. We look at just every industry under the sun. Is legal different when you market? Is there something specific about that?
Yeah, great question. Yes, and yes. And here's why. Number one, most lawyers are going to be localized businesses, right? They are a local business. They are in their community. Unless, there's a certain segment, certainly, and we have clients who are an entire region, they can practice federally. That's a different ballpark. But if we're talking about your local family law firm, your local criminal defense firm, even if they have multiple practice areas, multiple locations across the state, they are a local business. Now, that marketing is very different than me or you, who I want clients in all 50 states. You want clients in all 50 states in other countries, right? What you do, it doesn't matter if they're in Texas. You can consult with them in Texas. You can consult with them in Florida, right? So for our law firms, we are hyper-focused on their local efforts. Localized SEO is different than just SEO. So we need to focus on folks within their 10, 15-mile geographic radius. So that's a main component that's going to be different, is a localized aspect of it. And then within that too, lawyers do have a different focus that they should be focusing on than other businesses, really based on their practice areas. What are the needs of their clients, and that's going to drive our marketing. So, if I'm a family lawyer, my marketing needs to be very heavy on a compelling call to action, empathy. I need to use video marketing. I need to use podcasts. I need my audience to hear my voice so they can begin to know, like, and trust me if they're going to spend thousands of dollars with me going through the most difficult season in their life or the most joyful season in their life in adoption, right? So it so depends on their geographic area and then their practice areas. That's what makes our job difficult, is every practice area is different. Every geographic area is different. And it's certainly a different call to action for each. So answer to your short question is yes.
So is there also differences in the areas of law?
Certainly. Personal injury, we see that call to action is a much more urgent, quick, they're going to make a decision today, right? If they need your services, they're going to make a decision today. So that buying funnel is a much quicker buying funnel. I'm hot, I'm cold, and I'm hot. I'm a cold lead, and then suddenly I've retained your services. Versus, again, let's stick with the family law, an adoption law firm. That is a very long, tedious funnel that you are leading that client through. I am a same-sex couple looking to adopt. I'm a single lady looking to adopt. That is a much different journey than a personal injury journey in terms of the lead funnel, correct? And even within adoption, I'm a husband and wife who can't have children, or like I said, I'm a same-sex couple. You've got to really break that down. Those are very different funnels and processes along the journey. So it's so different in each practice area, mostly because of that buying funnel. It's a longer buying funnel, and we need to nurture them throughout the process. Again, my husband and I are gonna, let's say we're gonna adopt. That's a really long buying funnel, because we don't know if we want to do that. We've got to get qualified. We've got to go through the whole testing versus personal injury. They're going to see your ad today and they're going to buy today. So it really is really important, is your practice area. That makes all the difference in the world, because your customer is very different.
So, let me ask you a couple of things about building out Green Cardigan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was this journey like for you?
For building the company?
For actually, yeah, I really just dropped that bomb on you.
No.
For when you just, we decide we're gonna, and I know for myself, like I decided I was gonna do this, and I was like, years ago, 15 plus years ago, I thought I was gonna have a small little coaching business. It was gonna be a little this, and I had, I'm at this stage in my life, I'm not gonna go that big. I did big. I built a multi-million-dollar company. I'm done with all that. I'm gonna go little. And then I was just going to dabble in this. And then that got bigger. And then I started loving it. And then it got big, right? And then we started building out team and coaches and back ends and this, that, and the other thing. As this is your first business, what was it in your learning curve of learning the leadership of running a business?
Oof, I don't think we have enough time. I have made,
how many hours are we going today? Did I say 20 to 25 minutes?
I have made many mistakes. And I started the business at, I don't know, I was probably 32 or 33 or so. So young, right? On the younger side. The learning curve really came when I acquired employees. When it was just me, and I did everything the right way and the wrong way. And, it was me learning. Acquiring employees has certainly been the most rewarding and the most challenging learning curve that I have faced to date. There's so much that goes along with it. And I take it very, very seriously that I am responsible for providing an income for families, and keeping food on the table or the lights on for many families. I take it very seriously. And I also want to be a place that they enjoy, that they are growing, that they feel seen and understood. But then I need them to get the work done. So it's just, it is such a, I do not have children, but I would imagine this is what it feels like to have children. Every day I'm like, I should not have said it that way, or I'm come home and say, I should have been more stern, or why didn't I say it this way? I'm constantly questioning myself. And I don't know if that goes away, but it's certainly been the biggest learning curve I've had thus far.
And any surprises come your way in this process? Or do you care to share one? Because I'm not surprised if there's many.
Yeah, there's been many. Let's see, a surprise. Probably the growth, the very quick growth that we've experienced over just a few years. We're 3 or so years into it full time. That's been really surprising to me. And I don't know. There's many things that I feel like I could put my finger on it. Again, I felt early on the legal industry was really missing something. I watched as my brother-in-law, and then the first couple people I started working with, there's a few big box marketing companies out there. We don't have to say their names. If you're a lawyer, the 2 or 3 that are out there. And they truly, to the depths of my heart, I believe they take advantage of them. And they tell them they're doing marketing. They tell them they're doing SEO, and they're not doing anything. And they lock them in contracts. And that's just not my nature. I want to stay a very true, honest, small business. And I believe that's been a huge part of the success and the growth. But if anything, again, just going back to your original question, the growth has been the thing that has surprised me the most. I did not expect it, didn't see it coming. And so it took a minute to kind of get my feet under me and make sure that we're still keeping that customer service as top priority while we're growing.
What's your vision for what's next for you?
I can't stay in this role of everything runs through me. And so that's the vision for the next step in the agency is Ashley can't be the gatekeeper for everything, right? And I don't want to be. I'm surrounded by a really smart group of people. We have 8 employees now. I don't want to stay small. I want to be a small business, but I do not want to stay small necessarily. So I believe we're in a couple years, we're looking at 20, 30 employees. So that's the next step, is me learning how to get out of the day-to-day operations, but the company still continue the level of customer service that most important to me is our customer service to these lawyers. And so how can I step back and then know that the customer service is still being achieved in the way that I always dreamed of it being?
If I were to ask you to share a tip going forward, what would it look like? If I know I could always say the one tip I leave is numbers tell a story, and numbers are everywhere in your business, not just in your finances. They're in your marketing, they're in your sales, they're in your people. That's always what I talk about. If you were to leave something, what would your tip be?
To hyper fixate on your processes. If you're hit by a bus
tell me more
today,
about that.
We use the analogy of if you're hit by a bus. It's a morbid analogy, but we should change it to if you take a 4-week vacation today. What does your company look like? And
I'll do you one better. What happens if you go out on maternity leave?
Absolutely. So hyper fixate on your processes. We have built a free Google website for all of our we call it our training portal. So for all of our SOPs, standard operating procedures. Yep. So we create these SOPs for anything and everything. How do you respond to an email? How do you schedule our monthly client calls? How do you put together a report? If they're never used, it's going to provide, if nothing else, it's going to provide you as the business owner a peace of mind, knowing if that employee quits today, I know how to do their job. I can fire someone, I can hire someone can quit, move on to a bigger and better process or a position, and I have everything they do written down. So my tip would be to start writing down your standard operating procedures and do not make it complicated. On a Word document, write the standard operating procedure for how I respond to emails. Make it very granular. If you try to make one big SOP for how you do your entire job, number one, you're never going to do it. Number two, nobody's going to read it. Nobody is going to read it. So make them very, very granular. Each tiny little task should have its own SOP.
I love that. I love tiny little tasks for the SOPs versus the process or the job description.
No one's going to read it.
And, one thing that we're doing and that I've been talking to clients about a lot is as you do your SOP, record a quick video. Because people learn differently.
How do you record them?
We just record them on Zoom. We do them really easy because we could screen share. If I could record something on Zoom, if it's hypothetically, how do you respond to an email? I could create a hypothetical email and I could say, I click here and we can, and again, I'm the non-techie sophisticated person. Ashley and the duo here that you're getting today is the younger, probably a little more techie. And how are you recording your videos?
Loom, Loom. Cannot recommend it enough. So it's a plugin that's on your computer. So I always see the button in my bottom left corner. So I just click the button and hey guys, wanted to record this process for you. I just did this. Also do it for follow-up with my prospect clients. I've just finished recording a whole bunch today and it shows me in the bottom left corner in a little bubble. And it's, hey, I know when we met last week, we talked about A, B, and C. I wanted to show you, we just did this today for a client. Man, look at this performance of this. It's a very quick video. You can email that link. You can text the link. And when you text it or email it, it shows as a GIF, like a little moving bobblehead.
Okay.
And so I have found that you get a much higher open rate because you're intrigued. It shows my face kind of like bobbling back and forth. It's like, what is this? Open it up. It's a quick 30-second, 1-minute video from me. But then we also use Loom to record our internal process because some processes just cannot be written down, right?
Oh, that is so true.
And so we use Loom a
especially
lot
in
for that.
technology, especially if you
Yeah.
want to show somebody something.
Yeah. Yeah. So we use Loom a lot for that.
Ashley, I can't thank you enough for joining me here today on Her Success Story. How can our listeners lean in and find out more about you, more about Green Cardigan?
Yeah, we're at greencardiganmarketing.com, all socials, Green Cardigan or Green Cardigan Marketing. Reach out to us. We would love, if you have any interest or you are in the legal field or know someone in the legal field, we would love just to have a conversation and see how we could help you.
Awesome. And listeners, this is the part of this show that I say the same thing every time. Take a breath. What did you take away from the conversation between Ashley and I today? Note it down. You could put it in a phone, you could draw a piece of paper, whatever works for you. Then the most important piece, make a decision on what action you're going to take from this. Listening is always we always are very appreciative. I'm also very much deep-hearted about supporting and knowing that our listeners are moving forward and taking action. So identify your action. You want to share it with me on LinkedIn or at Ivy at Slater Success Coaching or right here in the show notes. Ashley, thank you. I can't, A, number one, this is a great interview. B, it was great to catch up.
Same.
And thank you for the wisdom that you shared with our listeners.
Absolutely, Ivy. I thank you again. It was very much enjoyed being here with you today.
Awesome. Listeners, see you next time as we bring you more wonderful interviews just like Ashley's on Her Success Story.
Don't need your approval anymore, 'cause I've got mine.